Today we're looking at the Integrated Math 1, Chapter 2, Closure and Review. So question 113 says, for the line graphed at the right, what is the slope? So on this slope, you're going down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So the slope is -1/2. What is the y-intercept? The y-intercept on the y-axis is right here at +1. So the equation of the line is y equals -1/2 x plus 1. Question 114 says identify the m and the b in the following equations. What do m and b represent? So in subpart A, the m or the slope is 2. You could also write it as 2 over 1. The b is 1. In subpart B, the slope is 2/5. The y-intercept is -4. The m represents slope, and the b represents the y-intercept. Question 115, graph each equation. So I looked in the b position of the y-intercept. I put a point at +1. The slope is 2 over 1, so I went up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, drew my line. Part B has a y-intercept of -4, so I counted down 4, put a point. The slope is 2/5, so I went up 2 over 5. Then I went back to that original point, went down 2 and backwards 5, so I could make my line nice and straight. Question 116 says rewrite each expression into an equivalent, simpler, with no negative exponents or parentheses remaining. For part A, I reduced the 2/14 of 14 over 21 to 2/3. I saw that I had an a to the third and an a to the fourth, so I subtracted 3 from both of the exponents. That took that to a to the 0, which is 1. That took that to a to the first, which is just a. And then I saw b to the first and b to the second, subtracted 1 from each. That took that to 0, which makes anything to the 0 power is 1. And that's just b to the first. So it's 2b over 3a. Part B, I multiplied straight across by multiplying the coefficients and adding the exponents. So 2 times 3 is 6. The m's had a 3 plus a 1, add up to 4. The n's had a 2 and a 4, add up to 6. Part C, anything to the 0 power is 1, so the whole denominator is 1. And then nothing cancels. So I got 4x to the 18th power. Part D, when you multiply across, you want to add the exponents. So I had a 4 and a 7 exponent on the s, so that's s to the 11th, t to the first, and t to the -1st, so that goes to 0, and anything to the 0 power is 1. And then u squared, nothing to combine with it, so it's just u squared. So the final answer is s to the 11th, u to the 2nd. For part E, I had 3 to the 4th power, which is 81. And then I had w to the -8th power, which moves it to the denominator, and the exponent becomes positive. Same thing with f. Moves to the denominator, the exponent becomes positive. Flip it over to the back, the top of page 32. We have question 117. Shirley starts with $85 in the bank and saves $17 every 2 months. Write an equation for the balance of Shirley's bank account. Be sure to define your variables. So x is going to represent the number of months. Y is going to represent the number in the amount of money in the account. And she starts with $85. And every 2 months, she's going to increase her savings by $15. So 15 over 2. Question 118 says, what is the slope for each of the lines with points in the tables below? I used these 2 points. So I found the difference in the y's. I did 19 minus 14, which is 5. And I did -2 minus -1, which is -1. Then I simplified that to -1. Part B, I did the difference in the y's, which was 22 minus 31. I got -9. And in the denominator, I did 2 minus 3, which is the difference in the x. I got -1. I simplified that to +9. Question 119 says, write an equation for the given tile pattern. How many tiles will be in figure 58? The pattern starts with 3 and grows by 3 every time. And so I calculated that figure 58 would have 177 tiles by multiplying by 3 and adding 3. Question 121, what is the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points? So I did the difference of the y's in the numerator, so 7 minus 1, I got 6. The difference of the x's in the denominator, so negative 5 minus 10 is negative 15, then I reduced it to negative 2/5. Question 122, evaluate the expression for the given values. So I substituted in a negative 2 and then followed order of operations. So negative 2 squared is 4. Then I multiplied by negative 3 and got negative 12. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Then I can add and subtract from left to right. I got negative 15. Part B, I substituted in positive 1. You want to do what's in parentheses first. So I multiplied the 5 times 1 and got 6. Got 5. 5 minus 4 is negative 4. You want to do the exponent next. So negative 4 squared is 16. So 6 minus 16 is negative 10. For part C, I substituted in negative 8. And I simplified the denominator to negative 1. And then I simplified the fraction to positive 4. For question 000, evaluate the functions for the given value. So I plugged in a negative 2, took the absolute value of negative 2, which is positive 2. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 minus 5 is 1. For part B, I substituted in a negative 3. So negative 3 squared is 9. The opposite of 9 is negative 9. And then negative 9 plus negative 3 is negative 12.